right, so Bob, let's dive in. So this is going to be number one, workout number one of three. Just again to kind of recap, we're gonna always have some kind of big strength move, some kind of hypertrophy based move, which meaning like more focused on muscle building, some kind of movement that involves stability, kind of putting you in a position maybe that requires you to stabilize more from your core, or just have greater balance and stability in the exercise. Then we're always going to do some kind of single joint exercise that's going to relate to the strength exercise. So for instance, in this case, we're doing a hip dominant deadlift. We're going to pair that with a knee dominant isolation exercise. So you're isolating your quad. When you're doing your bench press, we're going to isolate your triceps. When you do your pull downs, or in this case your row, you're going to isolate your biceps, and we're also going to isolate your hamstrings on that day. Well, hey man, let's dive in. So again, I know that you don't have kettlebells at the gym, so obviously what we could do is, but you do have heavy dumbbells. I think yours, if I saw correctly, I think you even go up to like 70, maybe even 80 pounds at your gym, which is awesome, man. I mean, I think that probably, that's about all we need for right now. Just as a reminder, Bob, what you're going to do is you're going to walk up to that dumbbell. We're going to flip it up. Hopefully you can see that okay. We're going to flip it up on its head, all right? And then from there, we're going to walk up. Same thing as you do with your kettlebell. You're going to walk up to where you want to basically straddle that bell. You want your ankle to be as close to the center of that mass as you possibly can. Now, it's going to be a little bit trickier, right, because you don't have that handle grab. You're going to be grabbing the outside of that bell. So you may need to step back a little bit. As you know, soften the knees, send the hips back, right? In that position, you want to feel that stretch in the glutes. You want your you want your shoulder above your hips above your knees, right? Making that perfect triangle. We're going to grab that bell, big breath. You want to feel the stretch in the upper hamstring and glute. You want to create tension in that lat. Drive through the floor, stand nice and tall. Inhale, lower that bell down exactly where it was, right? Sending the hips back. Again, find that stretch in the upper hamstring and glute. Create that tension in the lat. Now, as you probably remember, the heavier that bell is, the more preparation you're going to need, right? The more time you're going to need to kind of prepare, take a nice deep breath, drop the hips, lift the chest, drop to the floor. When it's really heavy, we want a little more preparation time. The lighter it is, the less preparation time you need, right? If it's real light, you can just, again, inhale down, kind of move right into position, and exhale, come right back up. The big thing is you want that nice big inhale to precede standing tall. I'm going to assign you, in your template, I'll send you like the reps and sets. So that'll be all clear for you. All right, man, let's move on. So the next thing we're going to do on this day is your incline dumbbell chest press. And Bob, I want to just kind of express this, and I'll probably express this throughout all of your videos. These don't have to be set in stone, right? This is just the way that I would kind of structure your training. And what I mean by that is this deadlift is a strength movement, right? Meaning that it requires a lot of stability in and out of these deep positions, right? It's fairly functional. You do this kind of stuff in everyday life. Whereas something like this incline dumbbell chest press, you don't really do it but in everyday life, right? Not in this way, but it's kind of designed specifically to focus on making certain muscles larger. So, we may choose at some point to have you do something different than that dumbbell deadlift. We can kind of plug and play a different exercise that has similar qualities and characteristics. Same thing with this, right? We may choose that you like to do a flat dumbbell bench press better than an incline. That's perfectly okay. We may choose that you like to do more of a push-up instead. That's okay, right? It really can be kind of plug and play. So, right, we did not do these together. I'm pretty, this stuff's, I'm sure you're familiar with. The big thing, just like with your bench press, right? We're connecting, we're pushing through the floor, right? You want to push through the floor to get that arch in the back so that you can lift through the chest so you get a nice good alignment. Nice big inhale. Breathing into that upper chest, upper lungs, upper ribs, shoulders. Exhale as you press. Big inhale into that upper chest, upper lungs, upper ribs as you lower. Little pause. Big inhale. Upper chest, upper lungs, upper ribs. Slow on that way down, time it with the inhale, little pause, exhale, press. Now notice, with the dumbbells are kind of cool. I'm going to shift around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Dumbbells are cool because you can kind of maneuver your body a little bit. When you're benching, right, with a bar, you can't, that bar doesn't bend. You have to kind of generate torque by positioning the body optimally. The cool thing about that is you can usually push heavier weight. Dumbbells, you're not going to be able to push as heavy, but because of the nature of the dumbbells and the way that you can maneuver them, you can usually go higher reps. So it get perfect for stuff like this where we're going to be a little bit higher reps, a little bit lighter weight, which is basically what we're doing when it comes to hypertrophy based training. So just to show you again, man, from this angle, right, pressing through the floor, squeeze the butt, arch the back, lift through the chest. So I'm really getting those shoulder blades nice and flush on that bench. Again, the arch in my back doesn't come from just arching my back, but it comes from pushing through the floor, lifting through my sternum. Big inhale. Notice as I drop down, my elbows come in a little bit, my thumbs roll back a little bit. Big inhale, little pause. And again, as I drop down, I'm not really going too far past 90 degrees at that elbow joint, right? If it feels good to go down a little further, go for it, but really roughly around 90 degrees is about all you need. A little stretch across the pecs. Again, man, if you find that doing this bothers your shoulder, we can always take that decline down and have to do a flat chest press, right? If you find that, this angle is maybe a little too high, you can lower it down. You can also bring it up. It's about finding what's optimal for you, what feels good. All right, so the last one we're going to do in this series is this half kneeling row. And I'm pretty sure we did this together when you were here. At least it's in my notes that we did. So this you can do on your cable crossover. The way I like to do this is so the knee that's down, that hand is doing the rowing. Right? So think about this as a lunge position or half kneeling position. Slight tuck in the pelvis so the core is engaged. Right? I'm going to squeeze this free hand and hold it out to the side. You can also keep it like this, like you're doing a plank. Big inhale, exhale, pull. Find that lat like you did with your prone cobra. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull. Right? Time that eccentric contraction or the return with your inhale through the nose. Little pause. Little pause. Now notice, I'm not letting that elbow go past, right? Almost imagine like you're trying to push your elbow into your front pocket, your scapula, shoulder blade into your back pocket. It's about as far as I want to go. I want to generate tension just like you do with that prone cobra versus just pulling back. Right? I want to shoulder blade back and down, elbow drives in. Again, slight tuck in the pelvis, core's engaged, slight lift through the sternum. All right, man. Again, about the last thing, which I do not have, is we're going to have you do on this day your leg extension. Right? The big thing is that leg, you know what, I do it often on the cable machine, which I'll attach stuff to it. But the big thing is it's keep your toes pointed forward, right? Extend out, slow on the return, kind of like the same tempo as here, right? You want to time that inhale through your nose as you bring the legs back. Exhale, drive forward. Again, let me grab. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but just to give you a little bit cleaner of a demo. This is again where you're going to be sitting on the machine, the leg extension machine at your gym. Again, the pads at the bottom of the knees. Exhale, squeeze and drive up. The big thing is keep your toes pulled back towards your shins. Slow on that return. Time to return with your inhale. So, exhale, strong contraction. Inhale, return. Exhale, strong contraction. Inhale, return. All right, man. So again, just to recap, we've got your deadlift, we got your incline dumbbell chest press, we got your half kneeling row, and then we got your leg extension. Now you got a couple of choices. You can do this. You can do all your sets at one time, and then move on to the next exercise if that's easier for you to do at the gym, or you can do it all as a circuit. Really leave it up to you. The other thing, and we did this together while you were here, something that I like to do a lot is what we call supersetting. And that's where, in this case, you would do your deadlift, and then you would pair that with your incline dumbbell chest press. That's probably the way I'll kind of reference it in your program. And then you could do your half kneeling row, and maybe pair that with your leg extension. Again, a lot of it's going to depend upon the flow of your gym and what's available. You might find it's just easier and better to do all sets at one time, and then move on. So what we want to do is we just want to find out what's optimal for you. You can also do a superset of deadlifts and incline dumbbell chest press, since that's usually, again, you got dumbbells, they're probably going to be, there's more available, right? It's not just one machine. Benches, usually there's more available. So you may have more versatility there. You can go one than the other. But then you decide maybe you have to do all your sets of your half kneeling row at one time, all your sets of leg extensions at one time. So that's always a possibility as well. Hey man, so then the last thing what I want you to do is, I saw that you have a rowing machine. You know, what I'd like to have you do, Bob, is at the end of every workout, before you stretch and cool down, do some kind of interval-based training. And so for today, let me just double check your notes, and I don't want to tell you incorrectly. But on your deadlift day, we're going to have you do a row and a hard style sit-up. And now, I don't know that we did this together, but on your rowing machine, right, just to kind of reference, your rower, and it doesn't have to be a rower, Bob. You can do intervals, right? You can do intervals using the elliptical. You can do your intervals using a bike. The idea is that you're doing a sprint-based activity as opposed to just an aerobic activity. Aerobic, this is all stuff you know, but just aerobic meaning you're able to maintain kind of metabolic homeostasis breathing, right? And the simple way of knowing what that is you're able to breathe. So whatever activity you're doing, you're not out of breath, right? That's the stuff I want you to do on your days off, right? Where your heart rate is elevated, but you're not huffing and puffing, right? Maybe a little bit of that every once in a while is fine, but that the majority of the work that you're doing on your cardio days, you want to have, you want heart rate to be elevated. Maybe you're breathing heavy, right? But you're not huffing and puffing. Basically, you can carry on a conversation, even if it's a little stagnant from time to time, or a little staccato from time to time. On the end of your strength days, we're going to have you do some kind of interval-based training, so some kind of sprint-based work. The rower is perfect for that. So what I often have people do is like do 200 meters, right? Crank out 200 meters as fast as you can on the rower, and you can watch that. So right, crank out your 200 meters. Look and see what time you finished at. You crossed you crossed over that 200 meters, and track that. Then you'll do that, rest and recover, and you're going to pair that with this hard style sit-up. And again, we may have done this, we may not have. So what you'll do, Bob, is in this case, you'll do your 200 meters. After you complete your 200 meters, let your breathing normalize a little bit. Then you're going to come into this position right here. Toes pull back towards the shins. We're going to make fist. We're going to reach our fist towards our heels. We're going to tuck the pelvis, roll on back, keep it in the abs. 10 to 20 exhales, 10 to 20 seconds. Inhale, come up. Take a little breather. Roll on back. Make fists, reach for the heels, just like we did that hard style plank. Keep it concentrated right in that core. 10 to 20 exhalations. Inhale, come up. Do that 3 times. Fist, reach, roll on back. Keep it in the abs. Not in the hip flexors. Not in the neck. 15 to 20 exhales. Inhale and come up. 10 to 20 exhales. Inhale and come up. Go 3 rounds. And you're going to repeat. And let's do that 3 up to 5 times. 3 up to 5 times. I'll put this all in your program, but I just wanted to express that to you. Again, we'll go 200 meters on the rower, right? Which is roughly going to take you anywhere between 45 to 60 seconds on average. And then again, you'll come back and we'll do this hard style sit-up. Again, it doesn't have to be the rower. It can really be anything. Anything that gets you out of breath. So it's more sprint-based work. Something that's going to basically get you out of breath within 15 to roughly 45 seconds is what we're looking for. Again, before you come into your core work, let your breathing somewhat normalize so you can handle the kind of effective breath work that's required for like the hard style sit-up. All right, man, we're moving on. Day number 2.